They say faith is easy when life is good, when prayers are answered, and doors open without struggle. But what happens when everything falls apart? When the heavens are silent, and the only voice you hear is your own, screaming into the void. This is the story of Grace. A mother, a believer, a fighter. And this is her test of faith. 3 months ago, Grace had everything, well, almost. She wasn't rich, she wasn't famous, but she had something more valuable: peace. Every morning, she woke up before the sun, packed her son's lunch, and sent him off to school with a smile. Life wasn't easy, but it was manageable. Until the day it wasn't. Her phone rings. She answers, her face slowly dropping as she listens. "We are sorry, Grace. The school is cutting staff. You're no longer needed." Just like that, the little she had was gone. Losing her job was one thing. Losing her home, that was another. Faith doesn't pay rent, her landlord had sneered, waving the eviction notice in her face. She pleaded. She begged. But the world does not pause for broken souls. And then, the final blow. Her son, Daniel, the light of her life, fell sick. A fever at first. Nothing serious. But soon, he couldn't walk. He couldn't eat. Doctors said it was critical. But critical cost money. And Grace had none. Inside the hospital. Grace sits beside Daniel's hospital bed, gripping his small, fragile hand. The machines beep steadily, a cruel reminder of time slipping away. The hospital air was thick with the scent of antiseptic and fear. Grace sat beside Daniel's hospital bed, gripping his small, fragile hand. Machines beeped rhythmically, reminding her with every sound that time was running out. Then came the words no mother should ever hear. "We've done all we can, but only a miracle can save him now." A miracle. She had prayed for one every night. But where was God now? Her phone buzzes. She looks at the screen, an old friend, Lucy. She hesitates before answering. "Grace, I can help, but you have to do something for me." She knew what it meant. The money was there. Within reach. Enough to save Daniel. Her fingers hovered over the screen, her heart pounding. But then, she looked at her son. His face. His innocence. And she whispered, "God, I can't do this." With shaking hands, she deleted the message. And with a breaking heart, she chose faith over desperation. That night, she prayed. Not the kind of prayer she grew up with. Not polite words whispered before bedtime. No. This prayer was raw. It was desperate. It was a cry from the deepest part of her soul. "If you are real, if you hear me, please. Save my son." And then, nothing. Until the next morning. The doctor rushes in, her face pale with shock. His vitals, they are stabilizing. And just like that, the nightmare was over. Daniel opened his eyes. He smiled. And Grace. She wept. Not just because he was alive, but because in that moment, she knew God had never left. He was there. In the silence. In the pain. A few days later. Grace sits in the hospital waiting room when a familiar voice calls her name. It's a teacher from her old school. Days later, Grace found out who paid the hospital bill. Not a stranger. Not a rich businessman. But a teacher from her old school. "I saw how you work so hard without ever losing faith," he said. "You inspired me." And in that moment, Grace understood. Faith is not about getting what you want when you want it. Faith is about trusting even when everything falls apart. Even when the heavens are silent. Because sometimes, the silence is where miracles are born. To anyone out there, feeling like Grace, feeling abandoned, hold on. Because just when you think it's over, that's when your miracle begins.